Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. And with that, in fact, we have some breaking inputs. We are learning that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to visit Russia on 8th of July. And remember, this is also going to be a crucial visit, considering it will also mark the beginning of bilateral relations, in fact, in this new term of Prime Minister Modi, as he, in fact, forms Modi 3.0. It's also important to highlight that NSA, Mr. Doval, has already met President Putin earlier quite a few times. But remember, during the G7 summit, we also saw Prime Minister, in fact, interact with the Ukrainian president. India is also one country that is touted to have that diplomatic heft to, in fact, also mediate between Ukraine and Russia. But as far as India's own top priorities are concerned, there will be focus on oil, gas and defense. For more inputs, let's quickly go across to Abhishek Jha. Abhishek, what will be the agenda of this bilateral visit?
Well, this is the India-Russia bilateral annual summit level talk. That is the main focus of this visit that Prime Minister will be having. It will be Prime Minister's second visit in Moscow in his tenure. Last time he was in Vladivostok 5 years ago, and since then there has not been any summit-level visit from Indian side to Russia. In between there was COVID, so the two leaders could not meet for this annual bilateral summit. And now when Indian Prime Minister will be visiting Russia, it is happening in the background of multiple geopolitical challenges, and that especially is Russia-Ukraine war and Israel-Hamas war. Also, the growing influence of China and growing closeness of Russia and China, and how does India fit in that dynamic where Russia happens to be a very close partnership and a strategic alliance of India. At the same time, China happens to be an adversary who has deployed a massive army on the borders and who has been alleged to have encroached also. So in that context, this is very important. And also, Indian government has been importing a lot of crude, and economic ties have increased with Russia in the recent past. So that is something will also be part of the discussion. Defense ties has always been very important between the two sides. So these are the issues that Prime Minister Modi and President Putin will be discussing.
Abhishek, remember, much importance was also being placed on Prime Minister's attendance at the SCO, something that is not happening because, remember, it is the Foreign Minister who will, in fact, be marking India's attendance at the SCO. And having said that, when you talk about China's own clout, how crucial does it make as far as Prime Minister's visit to Russia is concerned when it comes to counterbalancing China's clout at the moment?
Well, Akansha, while there has not been any official announcement about the SCO or any explanation as to why Prime Minister Modi is not going, it is believed that there is a parliament session, and that is probably not letting him be available for the summit talk. But for the Russia-India-China group, there has always been a Russia-India-China group in all the multilateral summit of the regional groupings, that is in SCO and BRICS also. And the meeting of these three leaders used to happen regularly. Even at United Nations Assembly meetings, duration these meetings would happen. And the purpose of this meeting was, as the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has recently highlighted, that the purpose of Russia-India-China meeting was always to ensure that the differences do not crop up to an extent where it becomes adversary of each other. And that is why Russia always wanted India and China to remain at a very working level. And this time also, when Russia is having a close relationship with India and China as well, it would not like anything to escalate to a level where it will have to choose a friend and an enemy between India and China. So Russia has been one of the strongest, advocate of India-China, this good relationship. But because of the certain their own geopolitical compulsion, India-China border relations have not been very good, and India has been very firm on the fact that unless and until peace and tranquility returns in the bordering areas and China disengages completely, there cannot be normalcy in the bilateral relationship. And this is what Russian side has also, in a way, supported, that the bilateral issue should be, dealt bilaterally, and they believe that India and China can very well talk it out and, move ahead.
All right. Many thanks to you, Abhishek, for bringing in all those latest inputs. This is going to be one of the high